going to start recording. I was a minute late, so first we're going to run through just a quick overview of depreciation, and then I may not hit on book value, but depreciation is an accounting concept. Straight line depreciation is depreciating an asset over a set period of time equally. So imagine a chart like time value, and this is the value of the asset. This is, we'll just put X, this is how much we bought it for. Straight line depreciation is literally a straight line down, right? So if we buy $100,000 asset, all right, and we decide we're going to depreciate that over 10 years, then our depreciation would be $10,000 a year. And as we account for that asset over those years, we're going to deduct $10,000, or we are going to depreciate $10,000 from the value every year. And it just works its way down until the value of the asset is zero. And that's straight line depreciation. So for this one, since we're talking about it, we might as well do it. We'll just show what this one is. So we start with, I got to do it on my computer because I didn't print it off. So we start, the project cost $97,500. And it's over, what is it? Over 4 years. So what we would do is divide this by 4. And that would give us, divided by 4, gives us 24,375. 375. So over each year, we would deduct that from here. And so for this question, what we will do is, since we're trying to find the average, we'll start with 97.5. Hold on, let me erase this. I'm going to leave that 24,000 there. And this set 97.5. So this is our value at the beginning. And we would just deduct it. I did my math on this piece of paper, so I'm just going to write it down to save us a little bit of time. So we would just subtract 24,000 each year, which would give us 73,125. That's our value after year 1. Then we have 48. Or this is our value year 1, because this is our original cost. We subtracted that. That is our value year 1. Then we have 48,750. Subtract another 24,375. 0. That would be our depreciation. And then we would just take that and average it, add all those up, divide it by 5, and you are set. Are there any questions on that one? Nope. Okay. Let's run it through modified internal rate of return. MIRR. So specifically in this, we are talking about discount. There are 3 versions. You have discount, you have reinvestment, and you have combination. The only questions he asked on this is discount. So that's what we're going to focus on. We may hit another one, but I'm comfortable with the discounting, so I'm going to try and stick with that. If anybody who was on the Zoom or watched the Zoom for week 3, we were working through a problem. I don't remember the number, but It was one that even I was struggling with, but we were working through it. And in his answer key, or a part of the question was taking a value he gave you and working it backwards and removing the growth from it to get us to our essentially our net present value, right? And I did not see anywhere in his PowerPoint that he gave us this equation. So if I missed it, then my bad, but I didn't see it and we just kind of made it from what we knew or what we saw him do. So let's call it our discount. And this will be our discount equation is our P, our price or our value divided by 1 plus our rate of return. That's our rate of return. T. All right. If you don't have this on your card or written down, you need this one written down, okay? Because this is crucial to every discount that we're going to do. All right. So let's go into 21. And let me also say for discount, what you're doing is you're taking the negative cash flows, taking out your rate of growth and rolling it back into your CF0 and then running through your internal rate of return. Okay. So for 21, Drinkable Water Systems is analyzing a project with projected cash inflows of $127,400, $209,300, and $46,000 and negative $46,000 for years 1 to 3 respectively. The project costs $251,000 and has been assigned a discount rate of 12.5%. Should the project be accepted for the modified internal rate of return. All right, so I'm going to try and leave this equation here. And over here, let's take the variables we know. Again, this is a simple cash flow problem. But let's start with, so we know our CF0. This is how much we paid for the project is negative because the money is coming out of our bank account. 251,000, right? Next, we know our rate of return or our discount rate, R, is 12.5%. And we know our cash flows for years 1 through 3. I'm not going to write those down. But I'll write them down. CF1, 127, 400. CF2 is 209, 300. And then CF3 equals negative $46,000. Right? So first, we have this negative here. We have to roll this back into our negative 251,000. So what we're going to do is we're going to discount this. So our price is negative 46, 1, 2, 3, over parentheses 1 plus, we have to change this percentage into a decimal so we can run it through our equation. 5, 3. Is it 3 or is it 4? Let's run through 3 first and see what happens. So what we would do is simplify this bottom, right? Which would be 1.125, just get rid of that. And then we would multiply it by the exponent of 3, 1.125 times 3. And it's the exponent. So remember the exponent key is this YX. You type in the number, hit that, and then hit what the exponent is, and then hit enter. And when we run through this, we get 1.4238 we still have our top, negative 46,000.
Greg, why are
Okay.
we using negative 46,000 as the price?
Because the point of the discount modified internal rate of return is we're taking these negatives and we're rolling them back into CF0. So our CF0 is our cost. This is how much we paid for the project. This number is after our growth over the previous years. So we have to remove this negative number in order to match our current cost.
Okay.
So we have to discount this negative, which puts us here at this equation. So we would do 46,000, negative 46,000 divided by 1.4238. And that gives us negative 32,307.91. Right? So this will equal 32,307.91. We got to take, it's negative, it's a negative 32,000. We're going to take this number. Now this is 46,000 at our original year. We took the growth out, essentially. Is everybody tracking that? So all we did was remove our compound growth over the previous few years. And that's the number. Now, what we need to do with that is we need to roll it back to CF0. So we're going to add these two together. So CF0, again, that's negative 251,000. We're going to put it with this negative 32,000. And you have to be careful with how you do this because your computer or your calculator will kind of mess it up. Let me see here. You want to make sure you're getting the right number. So at this point, let's just ignore these negatives, okay? Just for right now. And I'll show you why here in a minute. So we're going to do $251,000 plus 32,307.91 equals, that will then put us now here. We're going to turn it back to a negative 283,307.91. Right? That is now our CF0. All we did was we took the growth out of this number and rolled it back into our CF0, right? So now all we have to do is put this in our calculator. 127, 400. CF2 equals 209, 300. We'll put it in like so, and our IRR will come out to, does somebody want to run that for me? And remember, this is a negative. I'll do it too, but just so I want to make sure you guys are getting the same thing I am. Has anybody gotten that yet?
1.8513.
No. Did you compute it for the IRR?
I did. Did you get the right number? As long as you got it right,
Yeah.
okay, I'll just try to rerun it real quick. You guys.
Yeah. No, it just clear it out, but that is what I got when I ran it
Okay,
so I got 11.33.
I know what I did wrong.
Okay, good. Which now when we're looking at this, we have assigned this a discount rate, or our rate of return is 12.5%. 11.33 is lower than that number. Therefore, does anybody want to? This number is lower. Nobody, man, we don't want it. We don't want this one. The rate of return on this project is lower than the 12.5% that we want, which means if I can get 12.5% somewhere else, this project is valueless to me because I would lose money. If I could put 251,000 in at 12.5% somewhere else, I'd make more than I would at 11.33%. Is everybody tracking there?
Mhm.
I'm actually not tracking that. If the internal rate, if the company says we'll accept anything that's 11%, then
So their internal rate of return was 12.5, which is saying if I give my money to somebody, I want 12.5% back. So if somebody approaches me, let's say another company approaches me and says, hey, I've got this project going on. I'm going to give you this much money back, blah, blah, blah. And I run the numbers and it comes out to 11.33%. I'm going to tell them, no, thank you, because I can get 12.5 somewhere else. I
so
wanna get-
where it says the discount rate is 12.5 in this circumstance, the discount rate is their hurdle rate.
It is the rate of return. That's our interest rate.
That's okay. So so in the 11% and change, what is that?
That is our modified rate of return we got based on the cash flow. So by
Okay.
running this project and going through that modified rate of return, we saw that our internal rate, if we took this project, was going to be about 11.3%, which is, if I know I can get 12.5 somewhere else, 11.3 is not that attractive. Especially if we're talking millions of dollars, what, 1% of that is $10,000? Yes, because 10% is 100,000. So 1% of that is $10,000. So if we're talking millions of dollars, I want every percentage I can get because I'm going to get a lot of money back.
Hey, Greg, real quick.
Hey.
So when you put to calculate for the IRR, is it once you enter your final cash flow, is it just compute IRR?
Whenever you type it in, so you know how whenever you typed in all of your cash flows, you go down and let's say you're at CF4, but you don't have a fourth cash flow. So for net present value, you would hit net NPV. Instead of doing that, when you're at that cash flow that you don't have anything for and you're ready to calculate it, you hit IRR. And it's just going to bring up IRR and then you just hit compute and that's it. So I
Okay.
can, let's see here. I've got the numbers here. So I'm going to run through it on the calculator just so everybody can see how we got that. So I'm going to go to my cash flow and then I'm going to, of course, hit second, clear. Let's get all of that out. Let me find my notes here. Let me pull this up. Sorry.
And Greg, just in case anyone else did this, and this is so goofy, but what I did is I put everything in appropriately, but I added in again the CF3 at the -46, which we already took that out. So just, you have to make sure when you're doing that bottom equation that you just stop at CF2.
Oh, that's what I just did.
That's what I did, man.
Oh,
You're not
okay, okay.
alone. I was like, gosh, if I can't enter it into a calculator, I'm in big trouble. But that was the error. So it was pretty easy to fix.
Yes, and before I run through this, remember I said, be careful how you put this in the calculator. Add the two numbers. Here's why. So clear, if I type in 251,000 and I make it a negative, and then I add that by, what was it? Let's just call it 32,000. 32, 1, 2, 3, and I make it a -2, I get, oh, that one worked that time. Oh, well, just ignore me then. Whenever I did it before, I got like 218,000 because my calculator thought I had to reverse the integers. So it did the keep change algebra.
Mhm.
So instead of, well, I wonder, hold on, let me do that again. I
got
wound up adding it
okay.
to it. Like, instead of it being two negatives going further negative, one became a positive and pulled it forward. So just make sure, just switch them both to positives, add them so you have one solid number, and then flip it back to a negative when you're putting it in the cash flow.
Mhm.
Just so plus 18 negative. Oh, okay. Well, it's working now, so just ignore me. But just be careful when you're doing that because it messed me up one time. So we'll run through this real quick. So we had 200. So again, we're at our cash flows. Clears. We're at our cash flow, right? Cash flow 0. We're going to put in that 283,307.91. And we're going to turn it into a negative because that's how much money is leaving our account for this project. Then we are going to hit enter and go down. And that brings us to our CO1. So our cash flow 1 is 127,400, right? So we type that in, hit enter and down. One frequency, because we're getting that payment one time. So we just hit enter and down again, brings us to our second cash flow, which is 209,300. Enter that, go down, enter, down. Now we're at CO3. Remember, we removed the -46,000, so we have nothing further. So now we would just hit the IRR button and then hit compute. And that'll give us our 11.3284 or 11.33.
Mhm.
And we'll do 22 as well. That's another discounting modified rate of return question. So again, we have our discount equation. Make sure you have that written down.
So Greg, he's going to let us have a note card again, right? He said that we
Yeah.
get one note card per test. Okay.
Yes.
I'm a
And
little.
this one,
Mhm.
and there was another one that I put on Zoom 3. I don't remember what it
Yep.
was. It was something simple.
Right.
But if you have not seen Zoom 3, go watch it. In there, I give you this equation, and there's another one that I did not see him give you that is needed. I don't remember what it is. I'll have to find it, but definitely go watch it.
Yeah, I was on that one too.
Yeah. It's I'm not sure what is going on, but these are equations you need, and I have not seen them anywhere else. So make sure you get those.
Will do.
Next, we are going to 22. Crystal Industries is considering an expansion project with cash flows of -287,500, 107,500, 196,100, 104,500, and -92,700 for years 0 through 4. So we know our CF zero, this is our cost is $287,500. All right. Should the firm proceed with the expansion based on the discounting approach of to the modified internal rate of return, if the discount rate is 13.4. 13.4. So we know our cash flows, 107,500. We know 196, 100. CF3 is 104, 500. And CF4 is negative 92, 700. So this negative, we are going to roll that back into our cost of the project through our discount rate or through our discount equation, right? So we've got negative 92, 700 over parentheses 1 plus, again, this is a percentage. We have to turn it into a decimal point, 134 times our time, which is 4 years. Calculator. So it's 1.134 raised to the 4th equals. So when we combine this, we get 1.6537 over or under our negative 92, 700. When we run that, we get 700 negative divided by 1.6537 gives us negative 56,056. I'm going to write it. I'm going to erase this for now because we got that part. So we got negative 56,056.62. 0.62, right? We got that from here. Next, we have to combine it to our CF zero because we're rolling it back. So we're going to add that to negative 7. So when we combine those, we get a new CF zero of negative 343,556.62, right? So now that we've got that, we just run through our equation. Again, this is gone. So I'm going to erase this because we have removed it from the equation. And now we have these CFs to put in. If you guys want to run through that. And again, we're finding the internal rate of return.
Like 9.13.
That's it. So first I'm going to wait. I'm going to let you guys run through it. If there's anybody who does not get the answer, I'll run through it. Or if you guys just want me to, I'll run through it. But first I want you guys to run through it. Calculate the
9.13.
internal rate of return.
got that 9.13.
9.13. Is there anybody who did not get that?
I think I put mine in wrong. Let me redo it.
Okay, yeah, run through it again. And if something goes wrong again, then I'll run through it and we'll see what happened.
I think it's just me because I keep getting error 5, so I think I'm not clearing my calculator right.
Are you turning this into a negative?
I think so. Yeah.
Double check that. Because error 5 means you're putting everything in it the same, or the numbers like they're either all positive or all negative, or a number is negative that shouldn't be, or vice versa. So just double check that this one is negative and the next 3 you put in are all positive. And if the error 5 comes up again, we'll have to figure out.
You were right. I did it. So yeah, it came out right.
Did
You're
everybody
right.
else
I
get it?
didn't
Is
put-
everybody good?
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Are there any more questions? Everybody good with this discount modified internal rate of return now? It's very simple. Don't let everything else throw you off or get in your way. It is very easy. We
And
just have
Greg,
to know.
the final answer is no, we're not going to do this project because the MIRR is less than the discount rate.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. So, I own a business and I'm saying, I'm going to give you money for a project. You tell me how much. I'm like, okay, well, I want 13.4% back interest on my money over that time. So I run this to figure out how much I'm going to get back. And whenever I find out it's 9.13%, I have no interest because I could get 4%, almost 5% more somewhere else. And that 5% at $1 million is 50 grand. So I could do a little bit with that. Does anybody have any other questions?
So that was really helpful. Thank you. That was like just the one, I kept getting stuck on those for that particular one. I don't know. I mean, that was what I was kind of stuck with the 4.1, unless I didn't know if anybody else had any questions. Feel bad asking them all.
No, I appreciate it. For the week 3 Zoom, I was looking away, but somebody kept asking questions that led me to learn more. Like we were working on questions that I didn't know, and somebody else was asking questions that helped me think and work through it, and then we all learned it. And that's in the Zoom. So no, questions help a lot.
Sure, for sure.
That's all I got. Again, you have that discount. You have the discount equation. The next couple questions right now, I am not going to hit on, but it's going into the profitability index. If, some people may be done or you're working through it. The one thing to remember with the profitability index is that your cash inflows need to be in present values. Okay? So if you're tracking your cash inflows you get through the year, you need to run them through that discount equation to figure out what they're at present value, then combine them, and that will give you your total cash inflows. You plug that into your equation, profitability index with the other part, which is initial investment, since I'm talking about it. And that should be your PI. But that's the big part. That's what I struggled with in the beginning is I was not changing them and my answer was way off and I had no idea why.
Okay, so real quick, for the profitability, we take each one, like looking at question number 23, you're saying run each one of 18,200, 37.3 through that discount formula that you gave us.
Yes. Now
That we did.
remember, yes. Now remember, yes, you have to run each one through. But remember, all right, let's go through let's look at one part of the equation in specific here. 1 plus R or rate T. This is going to change for each one because as the years go out, this is going to go up to account for more years. Okay. So it's not, this isn't going to be like 2 or 1 for all of them. It'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as your years go up.
Got it. So it should equate with the cash, like we did the cash flow years.
Yes. Yep.
Okay,
And this T is literally just time. That's what that variable means. This is your rate of return, your interest rate. And this P is like price, cost, your money, whatever we're trying to account for. Is everybody good?
okay, one more. I've gotten down to 23. This has been an improvement this week. Like I can actually work a problem out. And my answer is actually one of the choices on some of this. So that's big this week. Is there a trick then other than this profitability with all the Greek letters?
It's-
I can say he's making,
yes,
I think he's making it increasingly difficult with some of the equations he's giving us, guys.
yes, he's giving it to you as, I don't want to say as bullshit, but it's like bullshit. Like if you can put it into your calculator, the rest of the stuff in it doesn't mean anything. So like your PI, your profitability index equals your cash flow, your total cash flows divided by your investment. And I'm going to put here a PV because it's the present value of your total cash flows. This is why you have to work every year back. And I guess this should
Do
be,
you include in that present value, do you include that initial cost, that negative?
no.
No, so it's just what you get each year, the 18,200, the 37.3. That's the cash coming to you. We don't include in that the cash going out. That initial investment.
Yes. We do not include, yes, we do not include that initial investment. Sorry, I was second,
Okay.
I guess. I was second guess. No, only your cash flows.
Okay.
So do you guys want to run through this one on your own, or since we're here, do you want to go through? No, okay, all right.
Can we go through it?
Yeah, well, here, is
Sorry.
there, no, it's
No,
fine.
thank you.
Are there any other questions? No?
No,
You're
just
good?
that formula made me panic.
Yeah, no, this is what you need. Now, remember, again, present value, once you put this in, I'll leave it there. If there's nothing further on that, if you don't want to watch this one gone through, I appreciate you joining. If you want to see, which one is it? 23? We'll go through it real quick. Yeah, 23. Oh, you guys want to go through this one? Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
I'm sorry,
no.
I was talking and didn't realize I wasn't unmuted or muted
No,
still.
no,
So
you're
the
fine.
the denominator would be that negative 54,300. That's your initial cash investment.
Yes, and
Okay.
and we're gonna go through this question now. I thought there were people who wanted to do it on their own and we're leaving, so I was just waiting. But
Mhm.
I was wrong. So we're gonna do it. We are going. You're still gonna partially do it, but we're gonna do it together as a team. So first, let's pick off this 18,200. Again, I'll put my equation up here, which is P over parenthesis 1 plus R parenthesis T. Okay. So we're just going to simply plug this in. We've got 18,200 over 1 plus our required rate, which is
12.6, so it'd be 0.126.
0.126 times our time, which
Which in this one would be 1. For the first year.
correct, which means nothing because 1 is it's times this. Anything times 1 is the number, so it's 1.126, right? So did anybody want to give me that one? You guys want me to do it?
I'll help,
Okay.
Greg.
I
It's-
want you guys to run through it too, just so you're tracking along.
16,163.41.
Cool. So we got that one. Let's now move into the 37,300 over 1 plus 0.126 parentheses 2.
$29,418.72. You guys check me, make sure we're good.
You're good.
Okay.
And our last one will be 14,300 over 1 plus 0.126 parentheses 3.
$10,016.81.
Yep. So now what we're going to do, this is all of our cash flows. We are going to add them up. And we get anybody got it?
$55,599.
99. Now you have the profit index equation written down, right?
Mhm.
So this is our total investment. Now we divide it by, this is our total cash flow. Now we divide it by our initial investment, negative 54,300.
Mhm.
And that gets us
1.02. Yes. 1.02.
Equals 1.02. Anybody tracking?
I feel like
Wow.
it's just
Thank
nice to run through it. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but like, just seeing it one time is all I need, but it's like, I'm like looking at this and I'm not understanding what equations he wants me to utilize, and then I'm trying to think of like making stuff up half the time. So thank you, Greg.
Yeah, no problem. It really is that simple. Don't like the equations we're seeing on the PowerPoint they're the equations, but they're like, if you were to try and do it by hand.
Mm-hmm.
We have a calculator that thankfully handles all of it. Now, if your batteries die during an exam, you're probably going to have a bad day. But I would have a bad day too. So that is it. And now, does anybody know what the profitability index means? What does 1.02 mean?
Isn't it, we want it, there's something to do with wanting it to equate to one or be more, there's a significance with one, correct?
Yes, one. Now, if I remember correctly, somebody please double check me. One means we are going to break even.
Okay,
We want to be over one because that means we're adding value to our business. We're bringing in more money
right.
than what we require. So it's acceptable if our profitability index is over one.
Okay.
The PowerPoint actually has something that's simplified for once, where he says that the profitability index is basically your benefit cost ratio. So of course you want your benefit to be higher than your cost. And that's why you're looking for a one or over.
Cool.
Is there anything else?
Thank you so much again.
Yeah, no problem. I admittedly still have to run through 4.2. I am going to stop recording now as well.